Just kind of a drunk rant because I'm a crazy bitch. You know, I can barely remember the things that I've done to help humanity, to break down these principalities in the areas that I live in. I can barely remember. Like, sometimes my memory is like, oh yeah, I did that, I did this, I did that. It's not a part of my everyday experience where I just walk around thinking, like, oh yeah, I did this, I did that. I'm just like an ordinary person, just like you, trying to pay bills that, hey, this day and age, the way things are coming down the pike, I don't know how much longer we're going to do this. You know, I had $1,800 hacked into my account that I needed so bad. It was like I was not going to make it, and it just happened. It just fucking came in. What is going on? What is going on? Whew, I don't want to, like, I don't know. Do I want to? Do I want to take a moment? Do I want to take a moment to remember? Because there are a lot of other people who remember. And this is what pisses me off because I have no friends. But there are people who know who the fuck I am. Like, those could be friends. Don't be a stranger. But they act like strangers. That's what's so weird. Like, you remember, I barely remember, you remember. You know, there was a time where I got the frick out of Austin, Texas, and one of my ex-boyfriends was a bartender, and he was like, you know, all everyone wanted to talk about for the longest time was you. And I said, like, news to me, because the truth was I was busy doing what I was doing. I was not concerned about what people were saying about me. I didn't know anyone was talking about me. I wasn't thinking about what people were doing or saying. I was just focused on what I was doing. And I think this stuff goes like way far back. Like, I think I was doing this before I even realized I was doing it. Even as a young girl, like, I was a hairdresser at a very young age because I graduated high school early. Because my brother, he was older than me, and like, I was like, these seniors just dick around in their senior year, and I don't want to do that. I was like, so I had a close relationship with my counselor because I was a very troubled teen. Not like I was a bad girl, but I was very troubled. So I had a close relationship with my counselor. And I was like, can I just like get the frick out of here? Because my brother and his friends seem to dick around in their senior year, and I don't want to do that. And she was like, yeah, you can. Like, you could just double up your classes. I got a college course in my senior year that was like a new thing back then. Now it's very common. She was like, and you could just like graduate early. So I was like, yeah, let's just do that, because I don't want to dick around. I don't want to mess around. I don't want to waste any time. But, you know, I think I was doing this shit longer before I realized I was doing it. I've always been a Heyoka empath, which is a person who is like a clown spirit. So we just like say shit people need to hear, and we don't know that they need to hear it, and we have no filter, and we just say stuff. So we just like blaspheme it, and like people are like, oh, offended or whatever, but we don't know, and they get triggered and they get healed. That's called a Heyoka. Heyoka. I just made friends with a dude who was, his father was in a band called Heyoka, and I was like, oh dude, I know what a Heyoka is because I found out that I was a Heyoka. Like, I just say shit that people need to hear, and it heals them. And it's triggering, but it heals them. I came into like being a hairdresser pretty young, and like people would come in, they're like, who the fuck is this girl? And I'm like, dude, nobody, like nobody. Even as a baby, even as a child, people would come up to my mother and they would be like, oh my God, who is this girl? And my mom would just be like, it's my kid. And I used to cry. I used to cry so hard because I didn't like all the attention. And I also getting further get like understanding this further, I didn't like people associating my looks to have any kind of merit, because there are people in the world who walk around who are like physically what you would consider beautiful, but they could be ugly, you don't know. And it used to make me cry as a child because I was born not to be like, glorifying myself, but I was a beautiful kid. I was a beautiful person. I was a I hated the attention because more than I am beautiful, I am also dangerous. Like, little to my knowledge, found that out later on. Found out later on. Why does the compliment beautiful piss me off? Why does it make me cry? Why does it make me depressed that people just look at me as beautiful? As an adult, I'm 35 years old. It's because I'm not just beautiful, I am dangerous. Right? People just associate beauty with, I don't know, some kind of merit in the world, but they don't realize beautiful is the recognition of truth. You know, the actual definition of beauty is the recognition of truth. So, as an adult, I have no friends. Beauty, I am okay, you can say I am beautiful. I'm also dangerous. I'm a dangerous person. In the world. In the world. We're in the world. Everything is so ass backwards, it's not even funny. Like, Lucifer looks like the perfect angel, and Jesus would look like the fucking devil if he was here. Anyways, those are my early days of just being a person, like not knowing shit about shit. I was at a bachelorette party when I was 20 years old, and I was like, you know what? I'm like kind of like I'm cloaked, like I'm sort of in mind control. I'm under AI. People say AI is like developing. For me, AI was like deprogramming because I was already very AI. And I'm at this bachelorette party with like my best friends, and these women actually grew up to be very good mothers. Like where I came from in upstate New York, like my girlfriends are good mothers. And that's all that matters, you know? That's all that matters. They were good mothers. I come down here, it's a different principality. You can't like, yeah, they're like good mothers are a breakaway civilization. I do hair for good mothers. I see them because I do hair for them. In the world, they're like a breakaway civilization. Somebody was saying in a comment in a previous video, where do I find myself a Lauren Pritchard? And I'll tell you what, you know what's interesting is I do hair for a lot of women that are just like me, but their voices are muted. They're quiet. Why? And when I was a young child, my voice was muted. It was quieted for some reason. Why? The women like me, okay, I'm like a pioneer. The women that are like me are very quiet. They're very muted. They're like deluded in society by this loud culture of women just being loud and being boisterous, and like it's so inverted. It's so inverted. I meet tons of women that are just like myself, but their voices are muted and they're quiet. Why? Doesn't make any sense. So I was at this bachelorette party when I was 20 and I was like, what the hell? Like, I was doing the motions and I was doing the things, but I was like, what are we actually doing? Like, what is this chaos ritual that is bachelorette parties? What are we doing? What are we doing? This is so weird. Being stuck in the AI program kept doing it. I was suicidal as hell my entire life. Growing up in upstate New York, the principality that is there was so bad. This was 11 years ago. It was so bad that I felt like I needed to leave. If I didn't leave, I would die. And I really love our friend Erickson from Surface Planet Radio because he had a guest on there who grew up in Vermont. So Erickson's in Vermont and the girl was in Vermont. And she was like, I needed to leave Vermont because I felt like I was going to die if I stayed there. And I was like, dude, that's what I felt like when I was 23 years old living in upstate New York. The principality, which is a demonic oppression over there, I was like, if I don't leave, I'm going to die. That's how I felt. I felt if I didn't leave this area, I was going to die. And I came down to Austin, Texas. I came down here with a lot of money, which is interesting. I've never had as much money as I had when I was 23 years old, a young woman in this town. You know, the urban culture, these, you make friends, they become city friends, and you realize like, oh, I'm only friends with you because we are urban friends. Friends in upstate New York, you have forever. Those women went on to become just good mothers. They're just good, normal people. So the principality is interesting because I felt like I was going to die in upstate New York and I left. I didn't have kids. I had no prospects. And then I came down here, felt liberated. And now when I go back to upstate New York, I'm like, you know what? All my friends are good moms. They're just normal people. My brother is just a good husband. He's just a normal person. People are just normal. They're just regular. And there might be something wrong up there. There might be because I don't know, like there's like a layer that is kind of needing to come off, but they're so close. I come down here and there's this principality in Austin, Texas of just debauchery, right? You don't realize it, but then you start to realize it when I was like, if I didn't drink alcohol, I wouldn't have any friends. That was the first realization. I was like, if I didn't do happy hour, I wouldn't have any friends. And then, your friends that are good friends down here, they move away because they can't afford houses here. You can't afford a house in Austin, Texas. You move away naturally. You get married and move away with your spouse, which is normal. So the friends that I did have down here moved away with their spouses and had kids, which is normal. The cities are becoming so corrupt. There was a forum on Facebook about dating in Austin, Texas, and I had been in this forum for a long time, so I was just looking at the comments and they were like, what are your tips? And people were like, poo emoji, like don't do it, like wear a condom, like don't have any faith in that. And it's because the culture in the cities are so bad. It's a principality here that is so bad. But this video was about like, dude, I barely remember. Um yeah, things jog my memory, but like I barely remember. I had a spiritual awakening in 2016 and it was weird. I had all this supernatural phenomenon that was occurring and I was like, I'm not going to tell anyone about this unless I do some research for myself. I want to find some scientific information So I got this book that was called The Spiritual Brain. And it was explaining how the spiritual nature is actually a function of DNA. So I was like, okay, great. There's a scientific element. So I can start telling people about it. I got on Facebook live streams. You know, those used to be very popular back in the day. I was coming upon awareness of the Illuminati. I got on Facebook live stream. I start talking about the Illuminati and I start getting gang stalked in my day-to-day life. I'm on a Facebook live stream talking about the Illuminati, and then I get gang stalked in my day-to-day life. I had an attempted burglary on my house. I had some dude shout at me on the street, and then my closest friend, who was actually a friend of me, her parents were super high Masons. They owned the penthouse at the most expensive apartment complex in downtown Austin. Duh, didn't realize. And they were very nice. Don't get me wrong. Her parents were very nice. She was a fucking bitch. But her parents were very nice because people that are more advanced in the Illuminati generally are like aware of us and them. So glory to her parents, and then too bad their daughter was a bitch. But anyways, yeah, like I didn't realize that. Yeah, rich people are fucking involved in the Illuminati. She flipped out and gave me, I had a key to her apartment for some reason. And because I started talking about the Illuminati, she gave her key back to me. Like, made me give it back to her, excuse me. And I was like, okay, don't give a fuck. Here's your key. Like, who cares? Like, didn't think anything of it. But all this stuff started happening when I started talking about the Illuminati. Like, how stupid. This was so long ago. It's like, how stupid. Okay, like, here you go. Your girl never had any fear. This is the problem with some of the elites. They had a problem with me because I never had any fear. So if I started talking about the Illuminati, they were like, we have a problem because the girl talking about the Illuminati has no fear. And then people start flipping out. And I'm like, okay, and still don't have any fear. So, like, we carry on. We continue on. Don't give a shit. I go into ufology and New Age conferences, and I'm like, these people are witches. They're warlocks. They're evil. Like, they have a problem. And then I come upon, because of everything I was talking about with AI, then I come upon the material of James Casbolt because Ida Fairhat was like, dude, for everything you're talking about, you should probably look into this material. So I look into the material of James Casbolt, go back into ufology, and these people are like, didn't have an opinion. Like, they would just shut down. Like, they would just power down. Like, some switch got turned off and they were like, can't talk about it. But I was like, these people fucking hate him. And no wonder there's so much happened. I was fucking kidnapped by Mormon people. Like, these Mormon people, not all of them. It was like half good, half bad. It was so weird. Like, Emery Smith tried to fucking kill me. These people tried to kill me, which is like a joke. Like, it's such a freaking joke, dude. And I'm in ufology with all these fucking people. And then I come back and I go to Essetti Ranch, and that was a pretty neutral territory. Presented the Orion Wars. It was a pretty neutral territory. It was pretty good. And then I was like, I came back here and I got a boyfriend who ended up being Dionysus, like the human embodiment of Dionysus. And he was like, you don't actually work. He sat me down and he was like, you don't actually have a job. And I was like, I never thought about that, actually, because people were donating and I was living off of donations. I was like, I never actually thought about that. So he was like, you should probably go back to work. So I went back to work for the salon. I had a beautiful salon that I was a part of before I decided to just focus on researching and traveling. And luckily, Rory took me back. He was like, great, yeah, we're so happy to have you back. Like, we love you. We are so happy to have you back. And so I was back in Salon for like a year, not even. And I come upon the fact that the people that are associated with my boyfriend are fucking Satanists and not only trafficking children, but breeding children, like breeding women like fucking cattle underground. And these people looked me in the eye day in and day out, pretending to be our friends. And you know what? Like, it's done. You know, like I took care of the problem. It's done. But that cost me my job. That cost me my livelihood. Jeff Stuffings of Jester King Brewery was a lawyer. He went to the county bar. It's like these people that are hiding behind these businesses that are just like, oh, just a fucking brewery. Okay. But why does everyone that works at Jester King Brewery, why do you all look the same? Why do you look like the same fucking creature? Because they're creatures. Because these are alien races. And he happened to be a former, quote unquote, former lawyer. Not mad about it, by the way. I'm not mad about any of this because we tore their shit down. Not mad about it. And he went to the county bar because I was whistleblowing the human experiments that they were doing at Jester King Brewery in Austin, Texas. They were doing human experiments of hypnosis. Hypnosis. They were hypnotizing their patrons and saying, come on in. We're experiment, like they wouldn't say it, but they're like, come on in, come pet the goats. They had all these goats. And it was my boyfriend at the time. He was like, dude, he was like, people are like abusing these goats and nobody is saying anything. And the reason why he was so enlightened was because he was spending all his time with me. And he was like, these goats are being abused and nobody seems to care. They come in, like these patrons come in, and he's like, your phone doesn't require a flash photography to take a picture. He's like, but these people were coming in with these cameras that were flashing photography in the goat's eyes. And he's like, you don't need to do that. And clearly it hurts them. So why are they doing it? And I was like, I don't fucking know. This is weird. This is weird as hell. So they were coming in and they were flashing photography in these goats' eyes, and everybody's like surrounding them, like, oh, it's so cute. Take a picture, selfie, gonna post it on fucking Instagram. And he was like, why are they doing this? The goats don't like this flash photography. Also, a photograph doesn't require this type of abuse. And it was clearly hurting the goats. It was hurting them. They didn't like it. And I was like, babe, I don't fucking know. These people are fucking weird. So it kind of began the story of like finding out that these people are doing human experiments on the populace. If you're so stupid that you can't see that what you're doing is hurting innocent life, then you're stupid. And this is the type of hypnosis that Jester King Brewery was doing on their property. So shit gets a little bit darker. Maybe I'll spare you the details, maybe not. Let's see where this rambling tongue goes. This dude, my boyfriend, was surrounded by the most evil fucking people. And he would come out of altar and he would say to them straight to their face, you better fucking stop because I see what you're doing. And they would just snap back, right? Like, they didn't, like, people don't believe that there is an intelligence out there that is like a surveillance state over them. So even though he was operating as a double agent, he would come out and say, hey, you better stop what you're doing because I see exactly what you're doing. And then finally, they started doing hypnosis rituals on him. And I walked in on them, and it can only be explained by God. It was God guided to find him under hypnosis with these people, and they continued to lie and say, like, oh no, we messaged Lauren, we told her where we were. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. But they were trying to cover up the fact that I was finding out what they were doing because of something supernatural. They were trying to cover up the fact that God was guiding me to go to these places, these remote fucking places. Like, middle of fucking nowhere, excuse my language, middle of nowhere, to find him under total hypnosis, breaking it up. And they'd be like, no, we told her. We told her. No, they didn't. They didn't tell me where they were. And the stuff goes deeper, dude. And it kept trickling on. And it just kept going. Child trafficking in Central Texas, breeding women underground, under the Capitol. I think Greg Abbott, to be honest, is a good governor. And I think he's a plant, sort of. Like his wife, I think she wanted to take credit for what I was doing. I think they mean well, but I think they're also like really under some kind of like mega mind control. But regardless, like, dude, like this type of trafficking, COVID, the shutdown, 2020, that stuff was not because of a germ that was spreading. It was a war on child trafficking in America. Like, you're not trafficking kids underground anymore. And the reason this gets interesting is because it's no wonder they're going predatory to the public. They're going predatory to the general public because of the war of child trafficking underground is not happening anymore. But the story doesn't end there. You know, I go back into my like hermit mode. And I'm just trying to survive, dude. It was crazy. Like, trying to survive under the imposition of these people that were just trying to ruin me. They were trying to make me desolate, homeless. They ruined my relationship with my parents. I went back to the Adirondacks in New York. My dad, not knowing he was a part of one of these networking groups, and we would always go on vacation at their fucking house. And I went to that house and I'm falling asleep by the fire, and God tells me, get up, wake up, go to the property. There's blood all over their property. What the hell was going on that property? Who are these people? Also, they control the weather where they live. It's no wonder the weather is always a stable overcast, because they control the weather. I won't go into much detail about that. There's so much more I could say about that. There's so much more I could give glory to God about. These people tried to catch me. They tried to catch me, but I was one step ahead of them. It was not going to happen. But there's a principality that was taking place, and these people thought that they had some kind of dominion over my father. No, they don't, because God's will be done, dude. No, they didn't. Come back here. Years later, the story continues. Dating a Muslim. These satanic Muslims don't want their big beasts dating any Christian women. And they come in like they are just some kind of like newfound friends. Like, oh, we just found you randomly. No, they didn't find you randomly. They found you before they knew. Evil always precedes what good is about to do, but it doesn't matter because good triumphs. They came in and tried to take control of his life prior to me coming into the picture. And they acted like they were like sycophant narcissists. Like, oh, we love her. She's so beautiful. And I, like, after 2 months, I was like, fuck these people. Like, they control everything you do and say. They control your money. They glorify me so long as both of us are going along with what they're doing. If they control your time and they control your money and they control your thoughts, then they control you. This is witchcraft. We had 2 miscarriages under their control. And they didn't want us to have a child. They didn't want us to have a baby. These are fertility witches. These are people that do witchcraft so that you can't bring forth the peaceful children that you would have made. And they do this stuff. This whole world is full of witchcraft. If they wanted to do disclosure about UFOs, they're going to send in some whore who's pregnant, who does pornography in Colombia, District of Columbia. I forget the name of the politician. It's all black magic so that you look to this stupid whore who literally does pornography in Colombia and you glorify her as the messenger for the UFO, like, oh, the ufology disclosure, that agenda's going to shit because we figure it out because it's not happening. They try to do this stuff before it happens. Their asses belong in jail. They all should be in jail. These satanic Muslims were involved in grooming, pornography, web pornography in Romania. They pretended like they were fucking Turkish. The dude was from Romania. The chick was from Russia. These people are such frauds. This world is so messed up. God, there's so much more where this came from. Central Health, Austin, Texas. The healthcare that goes to the children that are being trafficked, I obliterated them. And after I obliterated them, people wanted to expose them for financial crimes and so on. So if they can't get you for the actual crime you're doing, then they're going to get you for something else because chances are someone's already pissed at you for something else. What else? Not just Central Health. Oh, freaking A, what was I just about to say? Oh, hope it doesn't leave me. There was another organization. It was like, if they can't get you for this, they're going to get you for that. Because people are already mad about what these people are doing. The silent majority. We are the silent majority. We are the silent majority. What was it? Not just Central Health. Maybe it will come back to me. But damn, where does the story stop? You know what I mean? Like, where does the story stop? Like, when is it enough? When does the sky fall? When is it enough? Be to Texas, like, proclaiming all these marine spirits all over the place, and people are just eating and drinking, and they're under hypnosis. Largely, the world is under hypnosis. Largely, the world is under hypnosis. So when the ships come down, people are going to be under hypnosis. They're hypnotized. They're hypnotized by the principality in the area. They're under total freaking hypnosis. What was the other story about? That's interesting. It's not coming back to me right away. Because I had it on the tip of my brain. Central Health. You know what? It almost doesn't matter. Like we're at the end now. Like we're at the end. Like these people have lost their ability to traffic children in the way that they thought they were having freedom. People are going to jail. People are going to jail. They're getting arrested for crimes that they didn't think they would ever be caught for. Look at the dude for Abercrombie. Trafficking men, probably back in the early 2000s. That dude probably thought he was never going to jail. Right? Like these Turkish fucking people grooming bitches. I've seen it. I have seen the screenshots of this bitch grooming young women. This shit is not going unseen. She should go straight to jail. Hansa Yerbaka, straight to jail. The Yerbakan family, straight to jail for your crimes of pornography, trafficking, and grooming women. You think you have diplomatic immunity? Here's the beauty of the New World Order, baby. Here's the beauty of the New World Order. You thought you could escape your fucking country and come to our country to commit the crimes that you thought you could commit here with diplomatic immunity? Honey, you didn't meet me yet. You didn't come across my path yet. Straight to jail, bitch. You grooming ass fucking bitch. She's a lesbian. Her husband's gay. Their children are involved in pornography. It's incest. They're disgusting. I watched the young boy romantically kiss his father. What the fuck? Your Botkin family. I watched the young boy who's supposed to be the son of his father romantically kissing his father. Accidentally saw it. Oopsie daisy. You people are fucking weird. You're disgusting. Your wife's a lesbian. You're gay. This is incest. You didn't come here to... Oh, we came here so that our son could go to UT. Fucking bullshit. Your ass belong in jail or worse. You didn't come here for that. You came here because you are disgusting, because you are escaping your crimes. Muhammad married a 9-year-old, so you think that Muslims are all pedophiles and all Jews are pedophiles because the Talmud tells you that you can rape a 9-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. Jews, Muslims, wake the fuck up. Your religion is so pedophilic. And your crimes are reaching the surface. Nobody wants you here. You all belong in jail or worse. And you never thought this shit would happen because they're stupid. And you never thought this shit would happen because they're stupid. Checkmate, bitch. It's happening. You're done. It's over. Oh, feels so good. There's so much more where this shit came from. Believe it or not, everything I just spewed out, there's so much more shit where this came from. Good for me. Good for me. Good for me. And sorry to you. Not sorry. Fuck you. Bye. You guys are the right kind of people. Love y'all so much. Have a beautiful night. Talk to you again really soon.